Of Conversations with Malik. Conversations with Malik. Don't forget to check us out at convoswithmalik.com. Convoswithmalik.com. I want to shout out everybody who works with the team. I want to shout out Dawn Michelle from Dawn Michelle Promotions. I want to shout out Justin Moss, our social media guy who does all the great things up here. My co-host, Jeff Joes. Okay, I want to shout out, Wendell, who does all of the camera stuff here for us and who does a great job. And everybody who helps out with the studio. Please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Conversations with Malik. You can check us out. You can check out all our social media links. We're there. And all our episodes, if you go under our episodes page, we're there under the episodes page. And today, look, we're going to be going in this year. We're going into our second year. Okay, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different issues. This year, we're expanding and broadening our horizon. And today's show is about NFL and NFL has a race problem in the sense of there's not enough black head coaches. Okay? It's not. It's just not. It's not enough black head coaches. And we need more black head coaches. That's first of all. Okay? And second, there needs to be more black assistant coaches. Okay? There needs to be more black representation in the front office. There needs to be more black head coaches. And we need to start getting some black owners. And I want to get into all of this because, we had all of these black coaches fired, and I talk about this. I had an incident where this lady called me for a contract with my company, and she said to me, I want to sign. We want to sign with you. We want to commit because I told her she had to commit for the school year, and she said, "Well, we want to commit, but we want." There to be an out in the contract. Whereas, if after 3 months we're not satisfied, we can move on. We don't have to stay in the contract. And we were talking about some different particulars. And basically, what I got from her, and this is what I said to her. I said, so basically, what you're saying is this: is that you want me to be your quarterback, but I better not throw an interception. And the lady started laughing. She started laughing because she knew where she was coming from. And I said, on that note, I'm not going to be able to do business with you. I'm sorry. She was begging me, oh, no, Mr. Malik, no, it's not that. We just want to, and I said, and I get it. I said, I get it. It's fine. But I can't commit to that. Where you're going to give me the job, but I better do a good job, and I don't have no margin for error because I'm not perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. And so I didn't take it. And that's what's happening. Black quarterbacks have short leashes. And these are all of the thinking positions now. Think about this, the thinking positions. Black quarterbacks have short leashes. Black coaches have short leashes. Black GMs, black presidents of these organizations have short leashes. They got short leashes. So this year, 5 black coaches were fired. There was 7, and it was looking up. We're like, oh, wow. 7 out of the 32 teams that have black head coaches. Okay, we're making some progress because maybe those black head coaches are going to hire more black assistants and kind of put them in the pipeline because it's all about the pipeline, people. It's all about the pipeline. It's about the pipeline. So Arizona Cardinals fire Steve Wilkes, 3-13, out, 1 season. Right? You're not giving him time to rebuild. He does have a rookie in Josh Rosen, a rookie quarterback. Wait, you thought they was going to the playoffs? You thought they was going to the playoffs? Give him some time. Okay, so the Browns fire Hugh Jackson. Look, and let me preface some of this before I go on. Before I go on, let me preface some of this. Okay? Because I get it, man. If you're not doing the job correctly, whether you're black or white or Asian or Hispanic, if you're not doing a good job, ownership has a right to move on from you. I get that. I'm all for that. I don't care what color you are. I'm all for that. But when you have people who feel like they're on the hot seat when they get hired, that's a problem. That's a problem. Hugh Jackson gets fired by the Browns, but look, they've had different quarterbacks each year. They've drafted all of these quarterbacks that didn't work. He's rebuilding each year on the fly. Every year he's rebuilding on the fly. Okay? But if you want to get rid of you, I don't have a problem with that. 336-1, it's hard for me to defend that, regardless. Broncos, Vance Joseph, out. Out. Out, man. And if you look at their situation and all the details with their situation, there was some things going on with that. There were some things with them. It was, as far as how they was moving around in different pieces and bringing in new quarterbacks and new systems. Okay, got rid of Vance Joseph. Jets, Todd Bowles out, 14-34. He got a new GM in the interim. Okay, they brought in a new quarterback this year. He was hurt. Okay, he had Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is Mr. Up and Down. He can be hot for a few games and then he gets cold. So you get rid of Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles was 14-34. Now, if you want to tell me, Todd Bowles is a little too laid back and he doesn't show enough fire sometimes and all of this, you want somebody with some more personality, or you want an offensive coach that's going to bring the best out of Sam Darnold, then you could have hired an offensive coordinator. But you want to get, which I thought him and Mike McCagnon was tied at the hip. So if you want to get rid of Todd Bowles and bring somebody in, okay, fine. All right, that's fine. But Gase? You replace him with Gase? From the Miami Dolphins? In your division? That's who you replace him with? Who's a 500 coach? All right. So then the Bengals asked Marvin Lewis. Now, listen, man. Marvin Lewis hasn't won a playoff game. I would have been fired. And Marvin Lewis is a wonderful guy. I would have been fired. I would have been fired. Period. I would have been fired. I just would have. Straight up and down. But it's cool. Okay. If you want to, it's cool. I get it. So now the only two coaches that's remaining is you got Anthony Lynn from the LA Chargers, and you have Mike Tomlin from the Steelers. That's it. That's all that's left, baby. That's it, baby. Now they call for Mike Tomlin's job every year. By the way, every year they call for his job from the Steelers. He's been there for forever. He's only won a Super Bowl. They're only competitive every year. Okay, you took one of his weapons away with Davion Bell, who's one of the best running backs the NFL has ever seen, who could do everything, who could play all of these different positions, who could catch the ball out the backfield, etc., etc., etc. You only took him away from him by being cheap and not wanting to give up the money, which they probably would be in the playoffs. And they were 9-6-1 on the threshold of getting in the playoffs. I mean, what more do you want to ask for? But he's always being doubted. And Anthony Lynn from the Chargers, he only went 12-4. I wonder what would happen to him if he didn't do a good job. But there's a lot going on, man. And listen, so we got I want to read something because in Forbes magazine, David Berry has an excellent article in there. Excellent article, and I'm going to touch on some of it. In the history of the NFL, there have only been 17 black head coaches, at least one entire season, minimum 16 games with the team. But 4 of these, or 23.5%, was fired from winning teams. So 4 of them had winning records and got fired. Since 1978, there have been 174 white coaches who led a team for at least 16 games. Of these, only 12% or 6.9% were fired from a winning team. So there's a disparity there. Coaches do get fired from being on a winning team for different reasons. You might not get along with ownership. Players still might like you even though y'all had a winning record, or there's a better option out there. There's somebody that the people feel are better that they want to bring in. Okay, whatever the case may be. Contractual disagreements, whatever it is. But those numbers are different. So black head coaches appear by the stats. This is all stats now. This isn't me. This isn't me, playing the race card or being pro-black Malik, which I am. And just because I'm pro-black Malik, that don't mean I'm anti any race in particular. I'm anti-injustice. I'm anti-injustice. And injustice somewhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Throw my Martin Luther King in there for a second. So black coaches appear to be much more likely relative to white head coaches to be fired coming off winning season. In 2003, the NFL implemented the Rooney Rule, which requires that NFL teams interview minority coaches for head coaching positions. Just that they're part of the hiring process. Don't mean you gotta hire them. So the same affirmative action, which I've heard people refer to it as affirmative action. The same affirmative action where you got to give, a certain amount of jobs to people. It's not that. But the history of the rule tends to be forgotten. The league put this rule in effect after Tony Dungy and Denny Green, 2 successful black coaches, were fired. Remember that? Fired. Great article by David Berry. I ain't seen Denny Green. Where you at, Denny? Where you at, Denny? Remember you coached the Vikings and those teams? And Chris Carter, Randy Moss. Had a very, very good record there. But there's an article in the Shadow League that I want to touch on. There's an article in there. Great article in there. And, and it's talking about, how you have what do they refer to it as, you know, white men are still failing up into NFL head coaching gigs. With 6 of the 8 NFL head coaching job openings secured by white males, there's a good chance no black coaches will be hired. There's a great chance. Now they're looking at Eric Bieniemy, who's only has done a spectacular job in Kansas City, by the way. Spectacular job with that offense. Even after losing Kareem Hunt, one of the most dynamic running backs I've seen in the past 10 years. By stats alone, we're supposed to believe that not one black head coach candidate impressed owners enough to get the job after years of incremental process. Huh? They touching on some, not since 2014 had an NFL franchise hired a coach directly from college, but Tuesday, the Arizona Cardinals appointed former Texas Tech coach Cliff Kingsbury to be their head coach. Kingsbury is credited with identifying and signing Patrick Mahomes Jr., who was mildly recruited out of high school. Oh, so he gets a head coaching job because of that? With everyone trying to find the next Sean McVay, and I see what's going on. The hot coach, who's the world is his oyster right now. 32 years old. 32 years old, man. You know, Los Angeles Rams head coach. Where else is oyster? He got it going on. His team is playing well. Inherited a good team. But I like him. I like Sean McVay. I do. And I get people looking for youth and that, he could sell, he could sell, man. Women are gonna come to the game just because of him. People gonna watch the game just because of him. He's a good look on the sideline. He is. Kingsbury, who is also known as an innovator, offensive guru, is the guy Arizona wants to mold Josh Rosen. So he gets the job at Arizona. Kingsbury, 39, compiled an unimpressive 35-40 record in 6 seasons with Texas Tech. He wasn't posting double-digit wins, winning major bowl games, finishing in the top 5 in the country, or producing Heisman-winning QBs like Kevin Sumlin did when he was at Houston and Texas A&M. He only coached Dak Prescott, and we could go on and on. But look, after 6 years as Aggies coach, Sumlin was 15 and with 51-26, and Kingsbury worked under him. Kingsbury was his assistant. You can't make this up, man. Now I know some people will say, "Yo, yeah, but Mike, Mike Sumlin, he turned down, he turned down head coaching jobs a few years ago in the NFL." Yeah, well, maybe he didn't think he was ready. So that means he should never get another opportunity. Jesus Christ. Never, ever. Never, ever, ever, ever. Shucks. I mean, goodness gracious. He should never, ever get another job. Is this where we at now? This what we talking about? I was wondering if Mike Locksley was going to get fired by Nick Saban at Alabama. I was wondering, because they lost that championship game. But Mike Locksley took the job in Maryland. Maryland Terrapins, boy, took the head coaching job. Good for him. Good for him. And you know what's even funny about that? He He took the job with the Terrapins, right? And he took the job with the Terrapins, and he was hanging out with Jalen Hurts at the basketball game. He was hanging out at the basketball game with Jalen Hurts. Good for him, man. Good for him. Good for him. Do what you got to do. Because what's the name is a dirty game. NCAA, you got to and I'm not saying he did anything dirty. I'm just saying that that's the game. You got to play the game. It is what it is, and he's playing it. Yeah, he's playing it. So play the game, man. Play it with him, because that's what you got to do. You got to play the game with them, man. It is what it is. Doug Marrone is returning. Oh yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars, who was supposed to be dethroning, who almost beat, who had the game, by the way. They didn't go conservative last year. AFC Championship. They had the Patriots. Doug Marrone from the Jacksonville Jaguars, horrible record this season. He's returning. So this is the thing. The same people that want to get upset because people took a knee protesting against injustice in the black community. Why don't those same people turn around and say something about what's going on with the black culture? See, because you're fucking hypocrites. You don't fucking care. You didn't care that unarmed black men was getting shot. You didn't feel that was enough reason for us to be upset. Because you don't care. Hmm? That was your thing with the whole thing. You didn't care. Well, let me say this in closing. And I'm going to revisit this. We're going to talk about this some more. We're going to talk about this a lot more. I need us to bring awareness to this. Okay? And we have to push the issue on social media. If we got to take it a step further, we will. But the NFL needs to get it together. And they need to get it together quick, and they need to get it together soon, because this is a problem. Thanks for tuning in another episode of Conversations with Malik. And remember, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.